You've spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him. And his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
You know I can see you before we come on here, right?
What? How'd you find me?
What did you have on your face?
This is my son's cape. He's the big brother, so he claims he can't put it on. He's like almost 4, you know. He's like, Dad, I can't put it on. I'm like, yeah, you can. It's Velcro. So you're glowing. You look very nice. Have you been out and about? What's going on in your world?
No, I think that this is called I Don't Sleep Anymore now that school started, because so did all kids' activities. And they did this fun thing to us yesterday where my 14-year-old, which I don't know if you've tried to wake up a 14-year-old, but it's a good fun time. They moved his bus pickup to 6:46 a.m. and that started today. So this is just my no sleep look, but I appreciate, you are really one of the best people for my ego, and I appreciate it.
Well, so 6:45.
46.
What time? I mean, you're a night owl. You work really, really hard, and
I'm a creative.
Yeah. So that's impressive. You know, speaking of creatives that work all the time, let's talk about this Bank of Blue Valley blue color. That's red, blue.
Here's the deal. You know, we have somebody from Bank of Blue Valley on the show today. I'm super excited. It's been a minute.
I know. It's super exciting, and it will kind of pair well with the rest of the panel in terms of how the conversation is going to flow. But it's great with in-person meetings getting back and kids getting back to school. We're all meeting so many people, and we're all kind of getting a little bit extra gear in terms of what we're doing in business. So are you excited? Are you ready? What's percolating?
I'm ready. So I was trying to figure out, music to bring in the guests. And today I did some actual prep work on this because I usually do it when the stuff's going. And I found the top karaoke songs of 2021. And I think that the number one, that's the song we're going to use today. I think it's going to surprise you. Do you have any guesses on who the number one most karaoke song in 2021 was?
It's not Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
Why are you so good?
Was that 1990? Are you being serious?
I swear to God. Listen, I had it all keyed up. I have it all keyed up here, ready to play for our thing, and I cannot.
No one's gonna believe that we. Oh my God!
I promise you, we did not know that.
I was trying to make a joke.
That's probably because you've been to so many karaoke bars and heard it so often. I cannot believe that you just guessed that. I swear on everything, my kids, that I did not tell. Scott didn't even make it nearly on time for the show, to be really.
I was watching a documentary about how Shania Twain changed country to be more pop and how she wasn't liked, but because she was so nice and hardworking, she ended up making friends in the industry. And I'm going to change that into a business metaphor. Sometimes as a disruptor, you know, people may not like you, but eventually they respect you. So here's to the respect of Shania Twain and to Drinks with Leaders in Bank of Blue Valley.
The original Taylor Swift. Okay, tell us if you're watching Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. We've got Joel. Joel, we love your consistency. And let us know what your favorite karaoke song is and where you're watching us from. Okay, let's bring our panel in. Are you excited? I cannot believe you guessed that. That really stole all my thunder. That's good.
It makes me feel like go at an awkward pace because we don't have our banter. Because that sounds like it was prepared, but it wasn't.
It sounds like it was so prepared. All right, here we go.
Let's go.
All right. So our first guest today is Ann. Our second guest is Miss Jessica. Third guest straight from Big Blue Valley headquarters is Aladdin. And last but certainly not least, Zeke. Hello.
Hello.
Did any of you guys know Shania Twain? Man, I Feel Like a Woman was the #1 song, or was that just a Scott special?
Zeke, be honest. How often did you listen to Shania Twain 20 years ago?
0. I didn't even know. I barely. I'm not good at singing, so
I can't wait till the turn goes around to you so you can explain to the audience why you have no reference to Shania Twain.
Well, thank you, everybody. Again, let us know who's watching. I'm so excited. Let's just jump right into it. I'm stopping the Shania Twain down here. And who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
So I am Ann Walton. Hello. I am the executive director of KCMO Angels. We are a chapter of a national nonprofit that I started back in 2020 of January. So it was a really fun time to start a nonprofit, but we are here to stay. And we actually work to walk alongside children and their families experiencing foster care. So we do some pretty incredible work. It's been a really great year of fundraising and serving our amazing local foster community right here in Kansas City. And how I got to Kansas City is I actually met my husband at my friend's wedding about 13, 14 years ago. And we kind of moved all over and ended up back here in Kansas City. I'm originally from St. Louis, but I'm happy to report I love Kansas City. And we are here to stay. So we live up north in Parkville, and that's about it for me.
Well, besides being in the best place in Kansas City, because logistically, from a business perspective, you can get it pretty much anywhere in 20 minutes. Fun little fact about Parkville and Briarcliff areas. It's a great place if you want to do business throughout the city. But secondly, there's got to be a tie, I would assume, to the foster care to have a heart and a passion and a lead to serve. So where does that come from? And what are some maybe misconceptions that people don't realize about the foster care system in Kansas and Missouri in terms of how the system works? Like, who are the players? How do things go down? Because there's Foster Adopt Connect, there's KBC. So how does everything play into it? So how'd you get into it? And then how do all the players play together?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. So I got into this. I was at a women's conference back in 2019. They shared our mission video, and I was, quite frankly, just horrified that I had no idea about the statistics that plague children the moment they enter care by no fault of their own. And I looked around the room of 3,000 other women, and nobody knows about this. Nobody's talking about it. And I literally, from my chair, felt a jolt of, that's what I'm going to do. So I came home. I said, husband, I'm going to quit my job and start a nonprofit. And he was luckily supportive, and the rest is history. But I truly felt I didn't know anything about foster care. And when I found out about it, it really just pulled on my heartstrings. So I am here from a place of passion. I left a very great corporate career. I've always been in sales and marketing, but I really just felt like this was my true calling. So that's how I got involved. But I love your question because there are so many misconceptions out there. And the biggest thing I would like to share with what I have found with everyone is that our local foster community is amazing. These people that are taking in children that are not their own, they're taking them in because they've either experienced trauma, harm, abuse, all the horrible, yucky things. They are amazing. They are superheroes, and they're doing all of this with very, very little support. They get trained, they get licensed. That's how they get connected with like the FiredUP Connect, Cornerstones of Care, all amazing organizations. We work closely with them and would like to do more. But after they get trained, after they get placed, every single caseworker or employee by the state, that's the other thing. There's all sorts of different entities that work with these families, but all of them are there for really just the safety of the child. They're there to make sure the parents have a fire extinguisher. They're doing their trainings, all of those things. There's no support. There's no one calling them saying, how was your day? How's Jimmy doing? I know that Jimmy's been moved 7 times. How's he doing at that new school? There's no friendship. There's nobody to walk along this journey with them. So that is what we do. We literally use our programs to open a door to a relationship with these families, and essentially are just asking everyday volunteers to befriend a local foster family. So I hope that answers the majority
And
of
then
the
last
questions.
question is, how does your organization help play a role in the amazing ecosystem that Kansas City has?
Yes. So one of the other reasons I really felt pulled and called to do this is I used to work in downtown Kansas City, and that's actually where I am right now. This is where our office is. But there is a huge homeless population. And what I don't think people realize is that our homeless population locally, our prison population locally, our human trafficking issue locally, they all have the same thing in common, and it's unfortunately foster care. There are so many really horrific things that are going on in the world, quite frankly, and they all have this common denominator of foster care. So it really kind of moved me to think, gosh, if we could really just get to these children, because that's what they are, children, before they kind of take these negative roads in life, we might be able to solve some really big world problems. So your question was, what was the first part of the question? I just
just how you play a role in helping.
Oh, yes. So what we have found is, because these kiddos, like I mentioned, they move 7 times in 2 years. That's just on average. There's really no stability for them. They keep getting moved. Over half of foster parents quit after just 1 year. So there's just a real lack of stability, not only for these foster parents, but for these children. These children need more stable relationships, stable, healthy adults in their lives. And so we feel that through our programs, we provide that. And when they feel connected, when they feel seen, when they feel heard, these statistics can change. They actually can have someone, a mentor, like one of the things that we offer, tell them they can choose a different life regardless of their circumstances. When these families feel supported and they have someone checking in on them, telling them they're doing a good job, they don't close their home, so that child can stay there. So it really just all goes back to getting these children through a very kind of broken system in the best way possible.
Oh, that's heavy, but that's amazing work you're doing. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Sorry if I talked a lot, but thank you.
No, that's perfect. Jessica, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Awesome. That was amazing. That was like heart-wrenching, but beautiful at the same time. And I'd also love to learn more of like how I can get involved. So be sure to like share your.
Okay, I'll do that.
Dive in more about how you literally, and I agree, like how you just were about to jump out of your chair. But
yes,
that's the next round of questions. So I love the comment.
Awesome. Well, my name is Jessica Mann, and I'm the owner of Ari Rose. So we are a small batch, consciously crafted body care company. Our products focus on customers who have sensitive skin issues, eczema, contact dermatitis. It ranges all along the sort of sensitive skin spectrum. And our products are made with organic, locally sourced ingredients, and also fair trade whenever possible. So we are actually very new to Kansas City. So we're on both the Kansas and the Missouri side. I live on the Kansas side, and the business is in the Missouri side here in Independence. We have a facility with the Innovation Center, so that's been really cool as well. And we're originally from Chicago. I moved my family here. I'm a mother of 3, 16, 8, and 3 years old. So brought everyone here in October of last year. So we haven't even been here a year, but it's been great. It's really just been with the whole pandemic and everything that's been going on, being a small business during this time has been quite a journey, because we really have just been like ebbing and flowing with the nature of this whole new world that we exist in. So honestly, it's been, for me, it's been exciting, but it's also been nerve-wracking, and we homeschool our children as well. So having them right alongside with us in the whole process, and just trying to maintain their sanity, our sanity, and run a business. And their dad has his own business. So yeah, quite an experience.
Where are you located, and what percentage is e-commerce versus store? And what's a product that you didn't think was going to sell a ton and it sells a lot?
Okay, so we are pretty much like we're 90% e-com. We are in a facility space that's inside of a building, so we don't really have that front retail end of things, but that can change. I managed to find this space when I got here, like before I even arrived, I was on it. So there's possibility down the line to potentially have a retail space. We are in some stores, but most of the stores are in Chicago. And so one of the products that we sell is that I actually can't say that I didn't expect that it would be great, but I didn't know how well received it would be. I was actually really nervous about it. It's called My Little Secret, and it's actually a feminine care product. It's a feminine oil, and it is just like, it's an adult product, but it's not in that way. It's just like a really amazing product that women love. They enjoy it. It makes different experiences feel great. I don't know how to explain it.
You're doing actually a really fabulous
Yeah, you really are, because if you're not trying to market, all of us are like, okay, we're now going to Google it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guys like it too. The ladies love it. It's just an all-around amazing product, and I'm really proud of it because we launched it like 5 years ago or so, before like any of that was really being talked about on the market. And of course, like in the natural side of things, without like the dyes, the fragrances, the chemicals, the ingredients that disrupt the woman's pH, actually rebalances the woman's pH. So yeah, that's one of our best-selling popular products as well.
And then I have this debate all the time, which, as long as we're going into, the area where we like to talk about things that maybe people feel a little uncomfortable with, is there's a Iron Chef, Top Chef, and her hair always looks phenomenal. It's Chef Selena Tio. And so growing up, I always was like, well, you need to shower anytime you sweat. And there's all these natural abilities that your body puts off in the process. Like, I didn't learn, maybe that's why I'm thinning a little on top, is that you're not supposed to wash your hair all the time. So do you kind of help consult people on kind of the right way to do it? Because you don't want to dry out your skin. That's why people are coming to you in the first place. So, how do you really consult people on how often to bathe? And then obviously, if they've come to you, they've obviously figured out, like, wow, I look at the ingredient on anything I buy in the store and it's a novel. This probably isn't good.
Absolutely. So that is an amazing question, because a lot of what I do does require consulting customers and talking with them and hearing about what's going on in their lives. And, everything is about lifestyle, right? And so one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that our skin is a detoxification organ. So it's also known as the third kidney. It is supposed to release toxins from the body. And so when you are actually purchasing products that have a list of toxic, harmful ingredients that you're putting onto your skin, on your hair and scalp, armpits, etc., you're actually contributing to your toxic load, which ultimately creates a number of different issues. And then depending on what, the chemical is, if it's a hormone disruptor of some sort, you're now throwing your body completely out of whack. So oftentimes when it comes to issues like eczema, it's literally like the body's way of saying there is something wrong here. I need to release it. And it's creating these skin issues and conditions. And so I will, take that extra step to talk to my customers about diet, their lifestyle, what type of detergents they're using, how often, they're moving and exercising, because all of that matters. I'm big on body care is holistic. It's not just selling someone a product as a Band-Aid solution to what they're going through, because if they don't get to the root of the issue, then they're going to continue having these problems.
So when Ashton Kutcher says he doesn't bathe his babies,
Well, you know what? So the skin has a microbiome as well. We have microbiome in our gut. The skin in and of itself has a microbiome. And then every part of the body, the hands, the feet, the face, the mouth has a different microbiome, right? So when you are putting stuff all on it and slathering things on it or continuously washing it, you are disrupting that microbiome, all the hand sanitizer that people are using, killing off good bacteria, allowing, bad bacteria to kind of overgrow and take over. So I wouldn't say, I think that bathing is extremely important. But there are people who have like their own little philosophies on it. Some people just wash their face with water and don't wash it frequently with soap or add lots of moisturizers to it and things like that. So it really depends. But I think that for me, I'm big on minimal and simple skincare. Like you don't need a bunch of different products for your body. You can have one soap, a cream, we sell shampoo bars as well, an exfoliant, and then, kind of work with that, create your routine, and keep it simple and keep it clean.
I love that. And talk to experts like Jessica, not necessarily just the celebrities on TV. All right, John is here, and he says he's watching it on LinkedIn and Make It Happen Nick. So Nick, if you're out there, make it happen. I don't know who that's to. But Aladdin, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Great. Thanks so much for you guys for having me on. My name is Aladdin Ashkar. I am a senior VP and commercial team lead with Bank of Blue Valley. And what that means is basically I'm a player coach. I have a book of clients that I manage all on the commercials business side, and also a team that does the same. And we kind of have different coverages and different specialties in what we offer. But I basically am here at Bank of Blue Valley, which has been around since 1989. I've been here for a year, but have been in the community doing a similar roles with prior banks such as Wells Fargo, Bank of the West, as well as starting my career at Country Club Bank. So I've been kind of all levels of the size of banks, and I've really found a great home here at Bank of Blue Valley serving the community. But as I think it was Scott who mentioned earlier, or maybe on a previous Drinks with Leaders, a lot of people don't realize Bank of Blue Valley, we are more than just a community bank. We do have 10 branches here in the Kansas City metro, but we actually are wholly owned by a company called HTLF, which is a publicly traded financial company. And our parent company, HTLF, has 11 banks across the country. And we have what I call it kind of the best of both worlds. We have the ability to be as big as you want us to be, but at the same time, when it came down to PPP and helping our clients on the trenches, even the smallest businesses, we were able to accommodate. So it's really the best of both worlds. And obviously our bank has a long history of a lot of philanthropic work and stuff that we do in the community, not only in Blue Valley, where our namesake is, but obviously up north, Lee Summit, the entire metro. And so we take great pride in that. How I got to Kansas City. So I was born in New York, believe it or not, in Brooklyn, New York. And when my dad was when I was very young, my dad moved us to Leavenworth, Kansas, 30 miles northwest of the metro here. Was raised in Leavenworth. My dad was recruited to be, he was actually a physician, and he was recruited to the fort he's an OBGYN. He was basically recruited to be we hate to say it, we need a doc to live in town, help serve these hospitals, including Munson Army Hospital there on Fort Leavenworth. And he thought it was going to be a short stint. He thought a couple of years. He told my mom, we'll be here for a couple of years and we'll go back east. And he ended up opening a practice, and we all, I'm one of 5. We all grew up in Leavenworth, and I tried to play a little college football after high school, went to a small Catholic high school in Leavenworth, Immaculata High School. And after a couple stints playing football that didn't work, I ended up transferring to UMKC and was able to finish here in Kansas City at UMKC. And they led me to my first internship at Pioneer Financial Services way back in the day. And that kind of spun my career into banking. And if you would have asked me then, do you envision a almost 20-year career in banking? I would have told you there's no way. But here I am, and I'm having fun. And I think the thing that drives me the most is I've always been an entrepreneur at heart, and I've always enjoyed going on that journey with our clients, with our prospects. When someone comes to us with a proposal or an idea, it gets you fired up. It gets you excited. You try to find a way to get them to the finish line and to be a part of that journey. I mean, there's so many clients that we have that we really feel just right there with them and their success. And certainly when there's dark times, the pandemic showed us a lot of that. To be able to stand by our clients during those times as well and try to get them through that and come up with creative ideas. How are we going to get there? And we believe in you, and all that stuff. So all those things are what keep me in the industry and keep me having fun and doing what we're doing.
Yeah, Leavenworth's a small town. Whether it's the McCollum family of physicians, or Adam Booth in football, or Wayne Simeon in basketball,
That's right.
Everyone seems to kind of know each other. So one thing that people don't realize is Kansas City is metropolitan, has 2.1 million people. A huge chunk of that is Johnson County, which Bank of Blue Valley helped really birth and come of age and invest in. And so the history there runs deep. So what was one thing that you didn't realize before coming to Bank of Blue Valley that you love, that's kind of unique on the history side? And then also personally, what's one or two fastballs in terms of an industry that, like, if I got to bank one of the greatest entrepreneurs, John Bouchard, that is heavily invested in by the who's who of Kansas City, that is watching, he actually just landed a really cool product. When you go to any Walmart throughout the country, you're going to see little miniature TVs of your favorite shows growing up, whether it's Andy Griffith or Saved by the Bell or Miracle on 54th Street. That's gone throughout the world. So, but what's something that are one or two fastballs of yours personally, and a unique thing that you didn't know until you got to Bank of Blue Valley?
Well, I'll answer the first one. The unique thing I didn't know, I always knew of Bank of Blue Valley. It always had a great name in banking. Of course, the founder, Bob Bernier, who's still very much involved in the day-to-day operations of our bank, he's a legend. He's an absolute legend. And he was a big part of why I wanted to join the bank. Just his history, his legacy within the community, and all the philanthropic work he's done. But when I got here and I got to meet and got to know a lot of the clients that were here, I was blown away. I mean, I should have known, a lot of the bigger names in town, we bank many of them. And so should have known just based on the legacy, but it was a lot of fun just getting involved with those companies, getting to meet them, seeing how their business operate. Everyone does things a little differently. So even us, we learn along the way. I mean, we're also giving advice. So that's the beauty about when you have great clients, you're able to not give away the secret sauce, but at the same time, be able to spread that knowledge onto other clients to say, well, here's how another client does it. And you don't have to give out the name or, mention anything. Just have you thought about doing it this way? And certainly those conversations lead to deeper relationships. And then Scott, in regards to the product that you would love to bank. I mean, I can't tell you, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I can't tell you how many times something's come across my desk where you say to yourself, that'll never work. That'll never work. And then all of a sudden, a year or two go by, and sure enough, that thing's like a huge success. You're like, gosh darn it, I missed that or whatever. And certainly you're always trying to find a way to make it work. But there has been some wild, crazy ideas that you're just like, there's no way, And sure enough, someone will find it, or someone will find the capital to get it going. Usually it's not bank financing if it's too crazy. But no, certainly there's some great, still tends to be some great ideas that hit the market today, and guys are making money. It's amazing how many different ways you can make money in this country, and we're getting proof of that with your example of your friend who's got the little TVs. I mean, who would have thought? But
wait,
there's no shortage of that.
The lotion for men and women,
What?
Right?
Are you talking about My Little Secret?
That's what we should do. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's do business.
Yeah, Aladdin, come on. Where are we at?
Let's see here. Zeke, I
Drum roll, Zeke.
tenacity today, right? His commitment to being on the show. Zeke, can you hear us? You have yourself muted. All right. If he jumps,
There he is. So
Are you there? Are you with
Zeke and
us?
I got to meet each other while he was in school. And Zeke was interviewing the biggest names in Kansas City at Walton College.
And he must have been interviewing him from somewhere else, though, than he's at today.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the wife. You know,
we kind of chatted about he tried to go somewhere today for a good background. It has some a little bit tougher internet, so we'll see if he comes in. Otherwise, we're going to move along. See, can you see us? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm finally here.
You are there just in time. Who are you?
Yes.
What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Yes, my name is Nwanganga, and I apologize. Today, the Wi-Fi is trying to attack me for some reason. I don't know what I did to it, but we're good. But I am from Nigeria, originally from Nigeria. Came to Kansas City for college, UMKC. Just graduated this May, so just got out of college. And I host a podcast called FiredUP KC, and I just built out a new studio, set up season 2, and just going from there. So that's what I do, host a podcast, and I'm out here, trying to get hired too.
So Zeke, who are 3 of your favorite interviews that you've done in no particular order? And then you got to talk a little bit about how you got to the country. I mean, what was the journey like for you, how you got to the States and where you are today? But let's start with 3 of your top favorite people you interviewed before you give your background.
Yes. 3 of my top favorite people, I would definitely say Mayor Quinton Lucas was definitely one of them. He's definitely a very funny person to interview, very easygoing. And then I would say Paul Long and Jermaine Reed. That combination was just too much energy in the house. It was epic. And then I would say Ruby Jean Juicery. He was also like a really great person to interview. And then my journey coming to the United States, I came here in 2016, and basically as a kid, I've always wanted to come to the U.S. I remember I always tell this story when I was, I believe I was either 8 or 9 years old. I'll be washing my dad's car, and I have this vision of me just walking in the U.S. and just doing something. And I had a vision to come here, but I didn't really know how or when that would happen. But in 2016, I came here for college. It was definitely a hard shift for me to leave my country, come to Kansas City, where I only knew one person, which was like a friend who would help me like with school stuff. But moving here and seeing the Hollywood movies, it's all New York City, and then you move to Kansas City, it's like a whole different vibe to it. I'm like, okay, this is different. But at first, it was definitely a struggle being able to figure out the know of the land, trying to figure out getting on the bus, trying to figure out getting scholarships, place to live. It was a responsibility that came all at once, and being able to figure out what to do kind of made me grow faster because I had to either grow or go back, and there was no way to go back because I'm already here. So it was a struggle, even going through college, paying for tuition, which is definitely hard for a lot of international students, because if you don't have a scholarship, the tuition is like 10 times what your currency is. So graduating this May was really something that I never believed would happen, because I didn't even know how I was going to be able to make it. But we pushed through and we came out. So I'm just grateful. Yes.
So Zeke, what are you most excited about for season 2 of your podcast, and what other entrepreneurial endeavors are you into?
And I have a question to add to that too. Who was your favorite female interview? Can't just say all boys on this show. Sorry.
It was definitely Mrs. Erin Fulk herself. It was
Look at that, Erin. You weren't thinking that was going to happen.
I wasn't. I just wanted to know.
She's a little taken aback. I could tell by her face.
So our interview was really exciting because it was energetic. Because the best about interview is if you have someone who can keep the conversation going, it makes it way much fun, because you don't even have to talk much. Just let them kind of express and explain things. So it was definitely good interview. And then coming to season 2, I'm excited because I'm actually introducing this new thing I'm calling The Dream. And basically the whole series is about interviewing immigrants like myself, people who come from different countries to the U.S. to accomplish the American dream, and the struggles they go through, their stories, and where they are today, because I know I've been through a lot of struggles. So being able to help them share those stories on my platform is something I'm really excited to do. I've already had 2 episodes in, so I'm like super pumped for that. And also having a whole new studio where I host my show and building it out by myself is just something that excites me so much for this new season, where I'm like, I'm comfortable and I'm relaxed and I can have anyone I want and we can do whatever we want, not whatever within the guidelines, not too crazy. So
you're not doing it at the university. You can have some fun and there's a lot more freedom.
Yes, because I have a studio. I'm working with Miss Kim Young TV. I'm also on Roku. We have a whole studio right here in Independence, and that's where we shoot our shows at. So yeah, I'm excited for that and being able to have my own space and being able to kind of create and do and be free in whatever I want to create.
I've got a couple dream guests I'm gonna introduce you to for your Came from Another Country show. I'm not going to call them out on here because I don't want people to flood them, but I think Scott knows a couple of them I'm talking about, and they'd be dream guests. So I got you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, don't touch your Wi-Fi. Don't touch it at all. Stay right there. All right, and
yes,
we're like killing it today. We're already 40 minutes in, so we're going to try to get through all of this. Here we go. Anne, what has been your biggest win this past year and a half? I guess besides opening a whole nonprofit, what's been your biggest win?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. And our wins are always, for me, it's either when we get a big donation, because when we get donations, we can keep serving families. So that's always going to be a big win. But what really is a big win for me that just happened a couple weeks ago is I ran into one of our foster families that has been in our program now for about 4 or 5 months. And he literally said to me, I just cannot thank you enough. This group that is coming to my home now every single month and knows my children and knows us and is bringing this love box, which is what our program is truly remarkable. And he said, these are friends that have become family, and we just cannot thank you enough. So that sounds really simple, but that is really at the heart of what we do. Is these people are just looking for someone to say, you're doing a great job and I'm going to be here for you. So that was a big win for me. But we also did just receive a relatively small but sort of big enough grant to do something with. So we're currently hiring another employee. So that's really exciting. We will now have 2 employees. So and whenever we hire someone, that means we get to serve more families. So so we're doing great.
I had a friend in foster care many years ago, but I know this piece has not changed a lot. One of the big things that he remembers is having to take a trash bag round. And so he had told me a couple years ago, he said, always pay attention right after school starts because backpacks will be on sale. And if you can get a couple backpacks and donate those to foster kids, that's huge. Where would somebody donate those to?
Yeah, so it's funny you bring up backpacks. We actually held a back to school event last week at our office. And we were able to partner with a local business that collected all of our school supplies, all new backpacks, all new lunch boxes, and all of the families in our programs were able to come shop for free for all of their goodies. So we were able to serve 50 kiddos through that event. But if someone wanted to donate items, what we typically do is we are looking to match dedicated adults, dedicated volunteers, healthy adults with foster families. Mm-hmm. So although there are events that we do throughout the year that we need things, I would probably direct that person, if it was backpack specifically, I would probably direct them to like a Cornerstones of Care or a FiredUP Connect. There's a lot of different agencies in the city that we all kind of love on these foster families, just in different ways. So we just don't have the space to necessarily carry a lot of quote unquote items, but that's the beauty of our program. Is our hope is that every foster family, every child in foster care would have a love box group, which is our love box program is what we do. And that love box leader would be able to get all of those kiddos backpacks or whatever they may need.
Love that. Yeah, he said he remembered having to pack everything up every time he moved in a trash bag. And I just remember, that was years ago. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah,
I was at one of our mutual friends' offices today, and we were talking about dumb things like investing. And we were talking about different vehicles for financial wealth And out of nowhere, he was like, well, I paid off my house. I was like, why would you pay off your house? And he was evicted 19 times as a child. And imagine, as you know, obviously from the foster care system. And I just think when people are reading resumes and they look at experience and they don't see state university, this internship, this, and they don't measure what comes before it, they're really missing out. Because I feel like if you are from the foster system, it's not something that you should not talk about, or that you were evicted 19 times. But to me, as someone that hires a lot, I look at that and I'm like, that's way more empowering than getting a degree and a 3.2 GPA in journalism from X university.
I mean, I'm gonna be 100 by the time my house is paid off. So call me super impressed.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I just think that as a business show that we watch, that, you know, a resume, you can only learn so much from people, and really interviewing folks and learning their background story. And hopefully we're getting to an age in 2020 and 2021, 2022 and beyond, that we're sharing our personal story. And I think that's one thing that Gen Z does a phenomenal job. And Zeke and a lot of his cohorts and friends that he hangs with, you know, people, that's one thing I think they do a really good job of, because you pick up stuff on an interview. And
Right.
I wish more people told me that if they worked in, around, or near the foster care system, because it shows a degree of toughness, accountability, and responsibility.
Right.
I agree.
Well, speaking of, Jessica, I love that you have your kiddos in the background. I think you're telling us a lot of your story. So I love that. What has been your biggest win? I mean, everyone's had some big things happen this past year they've already talked about. But what's your biggest win besides moving to Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, that is a big one, because this is the largest space that we've been in since starting the company. I mean, I started in a 1-bedroom apartment. So to have, you know, over 1,000 square feet to be working out of is kind of a big deal for me. But honestly, it's similar to Anne is correct. And that's your name, correct?
Yes.
Just in the personal stories that, you know, I hear on a daily basis from my customers. And I think that, you know, because it really, like, of course I have financial, you know, goals every month that I want to hit. And I have, you know, things that even completing Growth 360, which is how I came in contact with you, Aaron. So that program, you know, was great. And it was an accomplishment to be able to finish that. But it's like none of that really actually matters unless you are making a difference in the lives of the people that you serve. And so for me, like the worst day could be going on and someone will write and tell me how a product helped them and they've been searching forever for something and nothing worked, and they finally have this solution and they're so happy and they feel confident and great, and they're healed, right? And like, how can I not just be filled with so much joy and happiness and purpose to keep going? So
Right. I love that. That's why we do this part of the show, because it reminds people that it's not always just necessarily your monetary piece, or especially, and I think we all kind of got that reminder in 2021. But as I say, it's not our monetary piece. Let's go to Aladdin, our banker, right? What's been your biggest win, Aladdin, this past
Is it
year?
about money? I don't, no, for sure. I know. I mean, we measure success so many different ways. And normally when you talk to a banker, like, what's your biggest win? It's surrounding the kind of deals that you brought in, the relationships you brought into the bank. And for us, it really wasn't that. I mean, for me, it wasn't that being like the main win. Really coming in from a different organization and landing in a new bank in the middle of the pandemic. And then the thought crosses your mind, like, can I help people from, being remote? And we're in the middle of the PPP craziness, and it was chaos. I mean, the government put this program out there with expecting banks to facilitate. Businesses are in deep need of help, and working evenings, weekends, processing applications from all over the place. And it was a huge undertaking. And I was just really proud of the way that specifically Bank of Blue Valley delivered to its clients. I mean, it was not easy, and many banks, struggled with it. Just having a lot of peers in the business, and for us to have them come through, being able to deliver, and then now go through the forgiven process, it seems too good to be true. But it's great. It's great. We helped a lot of people. A lot of businesses are open because we were able to deliver on that kind of covenant with them that we were going to get them through, and it's, you look back and you're just really proud of the work that was done. And so I would look back and say that was our big win in the last 12 months.
Do you think more people, I know my answer is yes as a business owner. Before I was with a big bank that's on every corner, I won't say it because I don't want to get sued, but before the PPP, right? And they had no concerns about small business when PPP. Do you think that small business owners like a Jessica or me, right, where we're still kind of getting off the ground, still kind of doing that they now realize how important that relationship is more than they ever did with their banker?
Great question. I would say that there's been this shift in the industry with so some of the bigger banks are guilty of this, where the smaller businesses have not been a priority to them. And it goes back to this money thing. Like, we go back and just say, well, how profitable are those relationships to us? But at the end of the day, you say to yourself, do we have to be profitable? Like, I mean, can't we be profitable off these larger relationships so then we can afford to bank at an economic rate these smaller businesses and not have to nickel and dime them for using basic services? So I think that's the difference between what a community bank's purpose is. And I feel like that's where, specifically we land. There's many great community banks in this town, and that's where they focus on. And I'm not saying anything bad about big banks. I've worked for big banks, and they do a lot of good and serve a lot of purpose. But there is some sort of lost, I think PPP, as you said, Aaron, has put the magnifying glass back on small business to say, what are we in it for? What's the purpose of why we're here? And banking is a little slow to react to some of the things that you guys have been talking about, like impact and serving a purpose. But we're getting there. It is getting there, and we've got people that within our organization specifically who are focused on inner city lending and going into more diverse zip codes and ensuring that they have an opportunity. So those are things that we're refocusing on, and it's slow to the game, but I'm just glad to see that it's here and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't know a banker's name. Well, I knew my friends that were bankers, but anyone at my bank's name until PPP. And now, well, I bank with you guys. I know everything.
You got the cell phone on speed dial. Yeah, I know. I took a lot of those calls, man. A lot of those calls.
Well, I think the one thing that's amazing for Bank of Blue Valley is I didn't really see it. So 9 years ago today, I was waiting tables before I'm doing what I do today. But, Aaron and I, we were in a non-for-profit board meeting, and we watched a bunch of different non-for-profits get pitched or other organizations. But because we had so little time to hear all of them, the person with the brand that everyone knew was recognized. And similar, I've been in board meetings where people have made big decisions, but because of the investment and the consistency, when you don't have, you pick the brand that you know and that you like and that you trust. And I think that's one thing that your organization has done so well, is that people just feel comfortable working with you. And it's great to hear that when PPP came out, it even strengthened that bond. But it's just unique. I always think from a business standpoint, it's all about ROI, which, I mean, a lot of it is.
Right.
But the investment that you put into the community is an ROI that does come back to you. You just have to be confident enough to know that it does come full circle. I
agree. Well said.
And if you bank with Aladdin, you'll get a cell phone number. So, all right. All right, Zeke, what's been your biggest win this past year?
Yes. I mean, I just want to say, man, shout out to Aladdin, Jessica, and Ann. You guys are just doing tremendous work. I'm even honored to be here with you guys, so I'm really humbled to be here. But I think my biggest thing for the past 12 months is definitely meeting my girlfriend and being able to get engaged too. So it's like a huge deal. So that's the biggest. If I didn't say it, she would probably hook me on the
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you wearing an engagement ring on your finger? Is that what I saw?
Yes.
Is that a Nigerian thing or is that just a Zeke thing?
I kind of like it. I kind of like it. It has some blings on it. So I'm just gonna tell people to stay away. So
I like it. I don't know a lot of men that have done that, so I like it.
So Zeke, how'd you do it? How'd you ask?
Yeah.
And how recent was this?
So we went to a restaurant. It was a restaurant close to the plaza. I'm usually never that nervous. But I was drinking a glass of wine and a glass of water at the same time, holding the cup because I was like, really, it was tense. And then she was asking what's going on. I'm like, I don't know. It's just the balance in this room is weird, so I can't really understand what's going on. But I planned that because the reason why I was anxious is because I told the bar person to like get like a cheesecake thing, so I didn't know when it was coming. So I was like, are they gonna surprise me as well? So I was really intense in the moment. But yeah, so they finally brought it out. I got on one knee and asked, and then she said yes. I'm like, okay, pressure off. But yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. Yes,
There it is.
yes.
There it is. I'm getting emails while I pull it
Yeah,
up.
give it a prop. We got Restaurant Week coming up January 14th. Someone broke the news on our show last week of when it comes out. And so the catch with Restaurant Week is you can get reservations. You just have to make sure the restaurant takes reservations that far in advance. But most people don't know when the week is until the month of. So you can do it right now. So Zeke, where was the restaurant and how long ago? Because this was pretty recent.
Yeah, so the restaurant is, I cannot remember the name of it, but it was like one of the nice restaurants, and it was close to the plaza. It's like in this, I can't remember the name of it, but it was on Main Street by the corner of close to Winstead, the restaurant behind Winstead.
It's the Grand Street Cafe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Grand Street Cafe.
I can tell you the picture.
That is it. Yeah, boom. But we actually made the reservation a week ahead of time. And it was this happened say 3 weeks ago. So yes.
Well, amazing. Congratulations. All right, we're on Scott's favorite part of the show. Scott, we only have 7 minutes. So one question only, not a ton of follow-up questions. 7 minutes, okay?
Well,
Scott loves it. Oh, look. Raquel knew from the picture, too. She said Grand Street. Everyone knew from your
Grand
picture.
Street, it's great.
Grand Street. We've all been there. All right, Scott, start with your icebreaker question.
Yeah, you know that Winsteads, you don't need to be in a car. You can actually be so intoxicated that you just walk through the drive-thru. They'll still serve you down there. Not that I know or I've done it 7 times. So we're gonna start and we're going to ask the question, what is the song that you karaoke to if you were given the chance? So not Shania Twain, a man I feel like a woman, but Anne, when you're walking into a karaoke bar, what song are you going
This is the worst question to ask me because my friends know I do not karaoke, but I have a ton of friends that do. So I have done it a time or two, but I'm thinking it's going to be something either in the line of Britney Spears or NSYNC. It's going to be something from one of those genres. I'm like 90s, 80s all the way.
Just give me a little feel. What NSYNC song?
Oh,
You stop it. Stop.
this is not. I'm telling you, this is the worst question for me.
We will have Scott give us all a little view. Don't you worry, Ann.
Okay,
Scott, you stop it.
I don't
Okay,
want to steal Aaron's thunder, but I do kind of want to make sure the audience is commenting on what they would want to do.
Tell us your karaoke song over here.
Yeah, Jessica, if you are karaokeing,
Yes.
Is My Little Secret an actual song or?
There is a song from a long time ago called My Little Secret. Yes. By
Did you research that when you were trademarking it?
No, I actually listened, and I did trademark it, but no, I listened to that song like growing in college or high school. It was a long time ago, but I guess the thought came up, but no, that wouldn't be the karaoke song. I actually don't karaoke either, but I just recently bought my girls a karaoke machine, so they do it, or me. They do it all the time, but I was talking to my daughter, and she said you should do "Level Up" by Sierra. Do you know that song? Level Up, Level Up. It's the theme, you know. I got to keep leveling up.
I like it.
All right, Aladdin, if you are karaokeing and walking into a Leavenworth watering hole, what are you dancing with?
I have karaokeed. I do enjoy it from time to time, and I will say my marquee performance was to Michael Jackson's "Remember the Time." I'm a big fan of the Dangerous album, so yeah, that was pretty vintage right there.
You don't want to give us a little show? No.
See, Aaron doesn't like when I ask multiple questions, but I always try to time it out for when the show is wrapping up. But Aaron,
I thought that Zeke got off of here on purpose this time.
Yeah,
you wanted to avoid that question.
Yeah,
Zeke, are you there? He's having a tough time today.
Yeah, I don't know if Zeke was even alive when Shania Twain song came out. Man, I feel like a woman, so that's why I thought it was hilarious.
This is a good one right here. Amarillo by Morning. It's an old country song. I know what it is, Joel. Okay, so I love nothing more than anything in the world than karaoke. Like, it is my favorite thing. Red balloon. If you're going and you don't invite me, we're fighting. Like, my favorite thing. I'm terrible. I took voice lessons over COVID so I could be better at my karaoke songs, right? Taking voice lessons was one of the more stressful things. It was too much anxiety. But my absolute favorite is Alanis Morissette, Ironic. Because you don't really have to be that great a singer. And everybody knows it, so they sing along. That's what you need is a good sing-along. Zeke, what's your favorite karaoke song? I love that one, too. Scott, how about you?
I like it. Sound of Silence. It's by Simon and Garfunkel, which Zeke was probably alive for. So I'm gonna reference my wife and Red Balloon. We've been there twice. One time we went there on our year anniversary of dating. We did a giant pub crawl, and she collected all the money from the bus, and she goes to the DJ, and she's like, "Hey, I'll give you $20 to sing Ice Ice Baby if you get me to the front of the line." The DJ goes, "Ma'am, there's no one in line. It's just you." She goes, "I'll give you 40." And he goes, "Okay, fine." And my wife, we're broke. We're paycheck to paycheck living in our apartment. I was like, "Honey, that's $40." I was like, that's big time money. But she crushed Ice Ice Baby. So Vanilla Ice is my favorite thing to hear her do.
And what's your favorite song?
Oh, I don't know if I have one.
No, Scott. I was saying Scott, and you thought
I was like, I don't know.
I wasn't going to make you go. You said
Ann didn't ask her that NSYNC song, so Ann we'll go back to you in case Zeke pops back on.
He's not going to get back on. It keeps going through. So if you've never been to the Red Balloon, it's a wonderful local business you should support off 75th and I-35. I believe it's between like a Payday Loans that used to be a Taco Bell and like some sort of vape shop or something. It looks totally like, maybe bring your own glass there, but you have to bring cash. They have great metal seats. But if you have never been there, you have got to go check it out. I got you, babe, for Raquel. Lori says probably something by Barbara Mandrell. And Toby says he'll go to Red Balloon with us. We're actually right at time. Thank you so much to our entire... Oh, look, Raquel's going... I know who I'm going karaokeing with now. Got all sorts over here. We're actually right at time. Thank you so much to our panel for joining us. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you to Bank of Blue Valley for sponsoring us. We really appreciate it. We're going to be back here, same time, same place. Another great panel next week. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye guys.